Hello, everyone. Welcome to Navigating the Future, a podcast from T-Kartor, where we explore the world of cartography, geospatial technology, and the people shaping the industry. I'm Sid Bailey, the creative marketing designer at T-Kartor.
And I get to join, I'm lucky to join you, Sid. I'm Red Curry, VP of Marketing at T-Kartor. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. Again, as Sid said, we're very excited because we've got a very special guest from our own team here at T-Kartor. Ann Quay McColloch is with us, and she's going to share her journey in cartography, her thoughts on the industry, and where she sees things heading. Ann, we're glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
All right, so let's start with the big picture. When it comes to cartography, what's your favorite part of the field? And on the other side of that, is there anything that you find challenging or frustrating about it?
I would say my favorite part of the field is just seeing the changes that occur in the world, like rivers that change. If you're lucky, you get to see a volcano. And then on the more heartbreaking side, during natural disasters, what gets destroyed, what survives, how the city changes and grows after the fact. I just enjoy seeing it all. I would say fighting back perfectionism. There's something so satisfying when you are collecting data and things just line up just so. So when you turn on imagery, it's a perfect representation of it. And unfortunately, no one wants to pay for the time that requires, but it is very nice when you're able to do it.
That what you just said was really interesting, and I want to take a step back for a moment and really ask you what first drew you to this field in the beginning, and after being in it for a while, what really keeps you excited about cartography today?
Well, what really drew me to the field was in my college years. So I went to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa in 2011, which had a huge, massive tornado outbreak. And the next year, I took a remote sensing class that utilized satellite imagery from before and after the tornado, and seeing the impact it had on not only human buildings and the like, but just also the vegetation. You could trace the entire path of the tornado by the scar it left on the ground. And I was absolutely fascinated by that. Pretty much that hooked me in, and I never looked back.
That's awesome.
And pretty much mostly the same thing that keeps me interested in. I mean, one of my favorite parts is seeing the change and the ebbs and flows of rivers and life. And just, there's always something new and something really cool to look at.
Yeah, I know that you just touched on this, but how do you think maps and data could make a difference in communities or everyday lives overall?
That's a good question. And really, it is only limited by your imagination. I mean, certainly in disaster areas, you can map out the hardest hit areas or areas that experience a specific type of disaster, like this area flooded, this area had more wind damage. You could also even map, where did the most injuries occur in people? And then you can dig further. Why? Was it old buildings? Was it, some other unknown factor? And then use that to change building codes or prevent it going forward. In day-to-day life, just travel. You can getting where you want to go in a timely manner. But especially in wayfinding or those You Are Here maps, it could show you maybe some local areas or points of interest that, doesn't make in the top 5 selections of your search engine, and a more locals take on wherever you are. And so it's a great way just to share information about the world you live in.
I love it. That makes me think about the projects that you've been a part of. Is there one that stands out as something you're especially proud of, or maybe one that really changed the way you think about this field in general?
Yes, I would say I can't go into too specific of details, but it was a project that kind of came out of the blue, and they're like, we need this done now. And just seeing where it was, I was like, okay, I know why we're doing it. And it's probably the first project in which I could relate it to real world events. A lot of what we do, kind of, we do the work, we give it to our customer, and I don't know what they do with it. It's a black box. But this was the first time I was like, I got you. I know what you want. So that was pretty cool. And that really, it was a nice reminder that what I do is not just, there's impact to it, even though I don't see it often. I don't see it a whole lot. It does play into the wider world.
You're not working in a bubble.
Yeah.
So to switch gears a little bit, the geospatial industry has historically been male dominated. Have you experienced any challenges navigating or establishing yourself in the field? And do you see that balance shifting?
Personally, I don't believe so. So I've been at T-Kartor pretty much my entire career. I graduated college, I immediately joined, and I've been here ever since. And T-Kartor is small enough and kind of did already have a strong female presence that, I just continued on. In the wider field, I imagine so. I think the hard part now is like you don't know. It's more so you don't know why you were chosen, and it's harder to figure out. Is it a boys' club thing, or are you lacking in some skill set? I do think it is overall changing, though. Seeing who we hire, there's a lot more women that are applicants and that we select, and they work for us. So I think the tides are shifting.
I love it. And Sid, that was such a great question. And I want to add on to that because I'd love your perspective on, are there any new technologies or innovations in the geospatial world right now that you're especially excited about, or things that are coming up that you think are going to make a big difference?
Yes. And shocker to no one, AI. AI and machine learning. So really, and even on both federal and kind of civic side, there's a lot that can just be automated, and just that will make our work so much quicker and probably accurate, because what we call fat fingering, you accidentally add a zero onto something and 100 turns into 1,000, which is quite a difference. So yeah, just incorporating that. The biggest challenge is learning what it can and cannot do, and making sure we don't go beyond the bounds of what it's capable of. But it is a growing part of this field, and it'll be interesting to see how it does. But I do take great pride, though, in the fact that it still struggles. It still thinks a river can be a road, or a road is a river, and people still got that knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the human in the loop that we hope to keep and hold on to, right? Because we can't just trust what something tells us. We've got to verify it. So that's right.
Yeah, but it will be massively useful, and can't wait to see what all it does.
Yeah. And to wrap things up, what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out in cartography or GIS?
I would say learn how you learn. Learn to take notes. Learn, what you need to do to memorize things. You are always learning in this field, whether it's new rules or guidance or completely new programs. It's a constant refresh of information, and taking the old and knowing when to throw it out and replace it with something new. But I would say that, and then always be curious. If you see something and you're like, I wonder what that is, feel free to dig a little deeper, and because you never know, what you initially thought it was could be something completely different. And when it comes to maps, accuracy is important. So
I love it.
All right, Ann, thank you so much for sharing your perspective with us today. It's been a great conversation.
No, seriously, really, absolutely. We love hearing not just about the work itself and what you're doing, but also that personal journey behind it and the places you've been, the things you've done, what you've created and what you've innovated and what you continue to innovate. So thanks again. It's awesome. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm always happy to share with what I know.
And thank you to everyone who's listening. Be sure to follow Navigating the Future for more conversations about cartography, geospatial technology, and the people shaping what's ahead. You can follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify. Our username is T-Kartor. Until next time, take care.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.